Okay, so it's 4:57 on the 22nd on Tuesday. Man, time is going fast. I am so emotional this morning, like watching videos, like I'm bawling my head off. But something totally fucking creepy happened. So, I did not want to wake up. I was having I'm like in this dream state. As soon as I'm shut my eyes, I'm like gone and I'm somewhere else. And it's deep and it happens so fast. And I know it happens so fast because how startling it is. Like, I'll go lay down and we'll go lay down. And then I'm laying there and it's been a couple seconds. And then all of a sudden, Stella will make one of her whines and it will jolt me. And I'll be like, oh my God. It is so jolting because I'm already gone. It's the weirdest thing. And so all night long, I'm deep. The past few days, she just wakes up constantly, and it is really whiny. And then I keep noticing how uncomfortable I am. So I know she's uncomfortable, and it smells like smoke, and that fire just keeps getting bigger. I don't know if today they'll get a handle on it, but all they do is say, well, it's rugged terrain, which is forcing the animals to go other places. But um, it's it's intense. Everything is intense. It's so crazy, and Stella cannot sleep for shit, and so it wakes me, and man, I've got so many things coming and hitting in my head. It's like knock, 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 knock. It's like, ugh, okay. Okay, so this morning though, when I got up and I was like dragging ass, man, like, blah, and I get my phone and by the time I sat down to look at my phone and look at the messages on YouTube, and I was answering Crystal in this last one kept saying it couldn't go, didn't recognize something. And so I'm like, my satellite, like, I don't know, there's weird stuff with the Starlink thing. So I went on to that, and it said my thing was out of alignment. How is it moving? Like, what the fuck? This thing isn't moving? What the fuck, man? So it's still totally dark out, and I have to go out there and align it. So I have to go out and move it. And so I get the flashlight because it's pitch black out there. And I get the flashlight and I start to walk out. Oh my God. So there was like, all of a sudden there was this, it sounded kind of like a rattlesnake. It started rattling, making a sound that reminded me of a rattlesnake. Rattling, real hard. Like, oh, I see you, bitch. And I was like, fuck, man, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay. So I'm shining the light over there, and then it starts doing some other fucking sound that was like, I don't know, like a bull that's about to charge or something like this. I was like, what the fuck? So I just keep shining the light, and then of course it plays tricks on your eyes and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is over there? So I still had to go outside the fence to go over there and move my dish thing. So I'm just trying to move it with my foot, like keep an eye on the garden over there because it's over in the garden. And so I'm trying to move the thing with my foot, and then it's like, oh, it's because it's on a hill. I've had to put this thing, it's supposed to be on a flat surface, but it's on a hill, so I have to kind of put this thing to kind of get it to be more angled right. And then it's like, oh, it isn't angled right. Oh my God. So I had to lean down and mess with it. It was like, oh my God, it was so intense. And that thing kept being over there making noises, whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. At least it was staying over there. I went up to go to the bathroom, and there was a spider, a big ass spider. My mom's scared shitless of spiders. There was a big ass spider on the wall. It's like, well, I'm not gonna go catch this bitch. It's fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. And so it's just sitting there. Like that one that was sitting by my tea that morning, it sat there all day, where I was like, even towards the evening, I was like, man, is it okay? And then it started like walking and it was all wonky. I was like, huh, I wonder maybe it's dying. Maybe that's the problem. And so then I came over here and I went back over there and it was gone. So I started looking around, it was above me. I was like, hell no. That's your eviction notice. I was like, you can sit over here, but you're not going to go above me and come down on me. Fuck that shit. And like, God damn. Hell no. So I got it and put it in the flowers outside. Hopefully it stayed out there. I don't know, how determined, because I was like, man, is he just watching me, or is he, did I vacuum up his home and now he's pissed and he's coming after me? Because I saw that in a video where a girl, she was going to the beach or something, and she got out her towel and it had one of their little white spider egg things on it, so she tossed it off or something, and then the spider came after her, and she was videotaping it, and no matter where she go, it was running around, it was going no matter what, it was after her. And then people in the comments were like, that's a jumping spider, they don't forget, they know your face, and they won't stop. And there's people who keep jumping spiders as pets, so I don't think they're vicious or anything. They let them walk around on them and stuff like that. Which somebody just, I think it was in Illinois or something, maybe it was Detroit. They just went into their kids' room and found a ginormous spider. I'd never seen anything like it. So they took it in to have it checked at a reptile place or whatever, one of those spider places. And they said it's one of those, I think they're called hunter's spiders or something, the ones from Australia that are ginormous. So now we've got those over here. Like, what the fuck? We got some kind of a screw. My mom was telling me about this one. Some kind of screw, what is it called? A fly, a worm, something. And they say that they're gonna be in the cows or something. I don't know. It's some vicious thing that'll kill us off or something. They're always doing this shit. Like, I swear to God, they go over here and they find something. It's like, and then they bring it over in the lab, and it's like, oh, let's make it even worse. Let's give it some power. Because they're always like, I saw, this is the second time, or I've seen a few of these videos talking about under the ocean. And I don't know if it's from these files. I'm not even sure where some stuff is just disclosure. And in this Truman Show that we're in, like, that's for real. Like, we're in this Truman Show. We're in a controlled environment. We're in a habitat. And the let me think, what was it? Because I was seeing something else this morning besides that. Oh, The Village. Yeah, The Village, because I always reference The Village too. But The Village also, and M. Night, he's always trying to, I swear, he's like Jordan Peele too. Because Jordan Peele, he's always showing things, and M. Night, but I don't know, what their deal is. Like, I don't know, how connected they are to what. And Stephen King, like I said, he's definitely connected to this, the spiritual world, and those two, but I don't know if they've sold out. So I don't think M. Night has, but I don't know. Maybe it is like he gets a controlled disclosure, but he has put a lot of stuff in his shows, and Jordan Peele too. So, because Jordan Peele, don't forget about the Get Out, like the body swapping, and they have the she gets the black boyfriend, brings him, and all the people are like, yeah, that's a good one, that's a good specimen, because they body swap. They take these people, and this is true. They will go and they get, and it's in other movies too. They go and they get them, and then they get their consciousness put into that body. So they have to, I don't know, take that consciousness out. I don't know how all they do it, because it was also in that movie I was talking about with, what's his name, when he was a scientist and he didn't realize he was a clone, and so he has to get back to the original, and so the whole adventure of him trying to get back to the original was he's a clone, and I don't remember the whole thing, but he was talking to, there was a conversation with the rich fucking scientist or whatever, and they said the same thing about the consciousness swapping. And now, they're just sitting there putting it out there. Oh, well, you can do it too. Just come on down. It's like, no thanks. I don't want your fucking bullshit, man. But the controlled habitat has been in our face for a long time and keeping us stagnant in a certain era, a certain time, a certain amount of technology and stuff. Well, yeah, that's what they've been doing this whole fucking time to us. And, oh, these fucking flies. Fuck off, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. So we'll just fucking dodge you in the fucking face. But anyway, so there's this thing about under the ocean that the government has a bunch of these habitats, and they are living in like these capsules, and like what we are, but of course it would be a little smaller because it couldn't be the same size as ours. So, they like what they're doing up here, but they're going to make it, well, what if we do this? Because that's what they're always fucking doing, man. They're fucking mad scientists. These are fucking crazy people being run by money and greed by these fucking psychopaths. Well, in our sense of psychopath, because they have no compassion or empathy towards us. And they do look at us as like we're their worker bees and they're the queen. And so, yeah, no kidding. No wonder that they came up with that royal hierarchy, which there was supposed to be a big announcement coming from the royals. Yesterday, I saw guys saying that the BBC had put them on alert. There will be an announcement by the royals. I haven't seen what it was. But he said there's a lot of stuff that it could be. So, but, it's the fall of their empire. So everything is going to be like, everything's shuffling. Everything's going to fall. Everything is, and they, it's a manipulated fall too, so that they can keep us on the hook as long as they can. But so, under the water, where they have these capsule worlds that, and they keep them trapped in a certain time period. And so, and they put these in movies too, about, because even in that one with Brendan Fraser, where, and I think Christopher Walken, and they were in the shelter. So they thought that the bomb was going off. They were in the shelter, and they stayed in the 50s, and the world was going on. And, but that is how they have it. They have people trapped in certain periods of time. And that is what all the chaos in ours is, because we are waking up to the truth behind the manipulation and the lies to our environment, to our reality, and everything is realms too. So they, so under there they have these ones that are other worlds, and in those worlds, those people think that's all it is, just like here, and how here they use religion and stuff to control people's minds, and even more, religion is like the nucleus. It's like the ink that comes to the ink blot, like it goes out. So they create a story to keep people trapped. And so down there, they have the same thing, and the people stay trapped in the same time period. And so I don't know how, what's going to go on as we wake up and we start saying, hey, let them out. And if there's going to always be some that are kept, maybe some of these creep ass souls are trying to get down there, and they are still playing out stuff. So, because your soul comes there for a reason. You're not vacuumed into this place. You choose to come here to go through experiences, like I've said, because it expands you as your, I heard authentic self, but it expands you into being an authentic self, and it expands you into a conscious being. And so through experience. And so, and through more experience makes you more conscious of more things. It makes you more compassionate, more empathetic. That's, I don't think, I mean, they are low vibration. Like they don't move out of this because they play low vibration. That's where they stay. And then they don't die and come, like they're set, man. This is just, they're happy in this realm. The battle zone realm or something, the control. No, those of us of the light, though, it's like, kind of like this fly coming in, oh, I'm going to mess with you. So it's kind of like the light coming in and messing with the dark, is how I see it. It's so they have these worlds underneath in the water that are time traps, time period traps or something. And so anyways, the video I just saw said that they have islands like that too. And in these islands, which in the village, it was kind of like, it was like a no-fly zone or something. So there wasn't planes or anything. And that's what, I think when the one guy, when he overcame the fear of, because they tell you, like, you got to go in your house at night, the monster comes out, and they do this stuff to make the monster seem real. And so people, all, what is that? What is that, like quiver or something in fear in a corner. They're all like, oh, scared, and oh, luckily we have these people protecting us. But it's all a fucking facade. So somebody escapes, something triggers them, like, I don't know about this. So they take off. And once they get out of the village and they look up at planes going over them, and it's like, what the hell? And so it was kept, and in that one, it was a scientist who just wanted to make the world a perfect place, not have to deal with all of the bullshit. But, and that's what they could tell themselves. But also there is the souls come in to experience it because they want the experience. And so every experience you learn stuff. So anyways, but they have islands like that too. So I don't know if it's just like how they have it where, like, Antarctica, you're not allowed to go there. We're going to stop you. Yeah, I'm sure. I think I just heard that too. I think I heard that. Yeah, there was a place that they said that's in the Antarctic. I saw this one the other day, and they said there's a village or something that's in the Antarctic. It's like, weird. I thought we're not even allowed to go there, but now there's suddenly a village there. And in this video, it was talking about this unusual village that is in the Antarctic, and it is stuck in the 50s, and it's never moved out of this time period or something. And they don't have access to stuff, so they have to be, like, you can't get there without a boat. And I don't know how they get supplies, or if there's just, like, they live way different. People make things, like, it would be way different. But that is what they have around. Even I remember just in my own lifetime where they started being like, well, we found this tribe in the Amazon that's still living like it's 100 years ago. And so, in our reality, time moves forward, but in some places it stays the same. And so they're saying that there's some islands that are just the 50s. They just stay in the 50s. Everything is, soda pop and floats and penny loafers and sock hops, and they're just all still living the 50s. And then there's some that are living in the 70s, all wearing tie-dye and being hippies together and stuff. And then, so they create these environments. It's weird how ours goes through these time periods. Like, we go through this, we bounce to this and this and this, but that's a whole nother experiment. And it is an experiment about control and stuff, because they put that in the 2030, which is so trips me out, is how I heard about that, the 20 and the together. When I started hearing about it, fuck, it was a long time ago. Maybe it was 2018 or something. And it seems like it was around the same time where they started putting the smart meters in a certain place, like Santa Barbara or something. So there's some place that they start putting them. And there was a woman speaking out, and she was saying all these people are getting cancer. This is a big problem. We need to not do this. And she was looking into shit. And that's when I started hearing it. And I don't know if she was the one who uncovered it, or in her thing she found connected with other people. And they're like, yeah, well, look at this. Because in that one, it describes what they're going to do and how they were going to take down, to create the generational divide. And by the time they get to the, because in that one they say it takes them 4 to get control. And then we see what they mean by that, because they've got such mind control over the kids that right now. And so anyways, nobody ever talks about that one. They're always talking about the 25, and now there's another one that they're talking about. So anyways, I'm always in the comments. I'm always like, yeah, but look into this one. This one's way more concerning. That one's like, well, maybe. This one is like, they already did it. It's like, that one is a lot more, you know, you're scared about something, go see what they're actually doing, not what they're saying, like, maybe, we might. It's like, oh, well, they've already done some shit, so might give you some insight into, you know, making different choices or something, listening to things differently, hearing the unspoken or whatever. But, and then you can see, like, how they, like, purposely move us through trends and move us through the world, because it creates such a well, I mean, Jesus, I just can't even believe at this point, you know, you're gonna call Kim Kardashian a natural beauty. What the fuck? Let's just go find somebody's got the most surgery on their face, and then, oh, look, they're a natural beauty. Since when? Since when is surgery natural? What the hell are you talking about? Like, it's weird. It's like how distorted people's minds have become, and how desperate they are to all fit in to a containment. It's like, you know, this generic way of looking or whatever, and everybody's just like, that's what they want. That's what they want. That's acceptable. Well, it's a trend. It's gonna move through. Like, some of these people are getting this trend to look a certain way, or getting surgery to look a certain way, and then what if it switches and then it's totally different? Like, I've heard people who have noses that they don't like. It's always been like a very ethnic looking nose, or very looks like a Greek nose, or looks like a whatever, you know, it's different things. A Roman nose, I don't even know all the different things. Like, if it goes straight, if it goes from here down, if it has a lump, all these different things. Then they come from these different ethnicities throughout time or something, which to me, everything that you physically represent has something that is a part of you, part of your DNA, part of your structure. And so but the people who have these noses, who always felt embarrassed or ashamed, or you know, they wanted to get a nose job but just never did, that now they are saying, hey, this is our time, because it's going to switch. And those of us who have distinct and unique noses, we're going to be looked at as beautiful. It's no longer going to be something of like, oh, everybody's got to change their nose to look like this one nose. Everybody's got to get this same nose over here. And that's what we've been doing for so long, is everybody's been trying to get the same nose. I mean, I was literally, when I was younger, I complained about everything about my face. Like, and I was even wondering the other day, is like, I wonder if I go in the med bed, if all of a sudden my cheeks are going to get big again, if they reverse your thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got the fat cheeks again. I would, because when I had fat cheeks, I was like, oh my God, my nose, everything is crazy looking. And I hated my face. Oh God, I hated my face. And you know, yeah, I would have probably gone in at that point in time. Like, there's a girl who's all over the internet right now who went and got a facelift in her 20s. She's like 27 and she got a facelift, and she said it made her way more beautiful. And then people are like, you are creating such damage, and then you got to keep doing things surgically to your face for the rest of your life. It's like, it's nutty how they've got people like this convinced. Like, you got to this look, instead of looking like you got to go after a different look. So anyways, but when I went in, I don't remember who, if it was my regular doctor, maybe I did go to a plastic surgeon to get, to ask him how much would it be to change my nose. And I just remember a doctor telling me, like, you have the nose that everybody's coming in trying to get. Like, your nose is the one that people are trying to get. I'm like, what? Like, because I don't know. I always thought it was pointy, and I always thought it was witch-like. Like, I've been told a zillion times, oh, you have a witch nose. So, I don't know. But but that was what the doctor said, and because it's small and pointed, so it's like, oh, well, I don't know what we would change your nose into. But I did see a girl the other day. I don't know what her from the side. I didn't think her nose looked wacky or anything. I just thought it looked like a nose. But whoa, after they did the surgery, oh my God, and then you're fucked, man. How do you get your nose back? It was such a pig nose. It was like they took her nose and like cut it or something, and then it was like a total pig nose. Oh my gosh, it was wacky looking, and I think that is a problem with chasing beauty. Just like the one beautiful actress who she decided that she'd let her friend do the in her face, and the friend decided she was going to put motor oil and cooking oil in her face, and fucked her up. And there was another, back in the day when I was growing up, there was supermodels. They were everywhere, supermodels. They got all the guys, they were with all the musicians, they were the hot commodity. And one was Linda Evangelista, I think is how you said her name, and she was real beautiful. And then, yeah, all these, they're tall and beautiful. A lot of them, were coming from other countries, which it's like, are these just coming from a lab? Are you just popping them out of a lab to direct us into a worship? Oh, look at that. But anyways, she wanted to chase beauty. Somebody who's already beautiful wants to go chase beauty, so she got some kind of thing done to her face, and it fucked it up. And so that's the dark side of the chasing the beauty, is you can get way more fucked up. And even if it seems like, oh, it's a good thing right now, but yeah, apparently you have to keep going and getting it readjusted and put back in place. And then that one girl's locked herself into that, and they said it's like every 7 or 8 years. It's like, dang, man. And they said it really thins out your skin and stuff. So oh no, I always think we got to stop chasing something like that. We got to stop chasing beauty and just learn how to love ourselves and accept ourselves. What was the one? Because I just said this morning on somebody's comment. What was it? She was, oh, it was a hair one. So she just got her Korean braids, extensions. Korean braid extensions. And I heard a girl talking about this the other day. And she was a black girl, and she was saying that it's cultural appropriation or whatever it's called. And, these white girls need to stop doing this. But she did make a point of our hair is not meant to, our hair breaks when you try and do all that. Well, I do know that is these women who do these type braids, even if they have black person hair, their natural hair, it balds them. It's like that. You cannot just pull those braids so tight, and they do those braids so tight. And there's a lot of older women who are bald, and they have to wear wigs and shit. And I've seen them, on shows and stuff like that, because they've pulled all their hair out, and it will start receding back and back and back. And then they just start losing it, and so they kind of get trapped into always having to wear wigs and stuff. Because I don't know, I just don't think we're meant to braid our hair like that. Maybe people in, Oriental people, like, they got pretty strong, thick hair, so maybe theirs can handle it. But, Afro hair or whatever, that's pretty soft hair. It's also soft. It just is coily. and it's very cool. Like it used to be when I was in high school, because I went to school in the desegregation era, and so all the black kids from downtown came to our school, and supposedly there was all these white kids that had to go to the downtown school. But we would always be like, what kids went? What kids went? It was like, are the kids we don't know? But anyways, like half our school became black, which I was thinking about this the other day. There was some girls who were hot combing. Like they would do something like put all this oil on their hair, and then they would use these comb things to straighten it and try and make these little flips, because the Farrah Fawcett hairdo was popular with the white girls, but there was a lot who just wore their hair big and froed, which I thought was the coolest fucking hair. And so, but their hair would fall out all the time, and it would be laying, like you could go on your desk and there would be those hairs on the desk. And they were cool looking. They were like real coiled and small, but their hair soft too. But anyways, their hair comes out too. So, I don't know. And like I was saying, isn't that cultural appropriation then to try and copy, you're going to straighten your hair and do all that stuff to try and look like if that's culture appropriation for this one, isn't it the same across the line? Like anybody who's trying to copy what isn't natural to them, isn't that trying to copy somebody? Which then we can come up with this cultural appropriation or something. So anyways, I don't know. But so this girl, she did her Korean braid extensions, and she just got them out. And so her hair, I don't know, it was like down to like right above her breast area, I guess. And so she was showing that her hair, she's like, oh, I can't even believe I'm going to show this and all that stuff, because it was so broken and stuff. So she had hair going regular down to here, but then all of this was just like fringy. It was like her hair was so fringed out, it was all broken, the whole bottom part. So she was going to have to trim it up to, or whatever she's going to do. I don't know. But she was going to have to cut it like a lot off. I think like this much or something, because it damages your hair so much. And I swear to God, the biggest thing we're supposed to do is just learning how to love our own selves, be comfortable in our own skin. And I was somebody who wasn't either. Like I said, I hated everything about my face. I have the most giant cheeks, this pointy nose, these pointy eyebrows, this little pursed up lips. I was just like angry, and I felt like like a balloon that somebody drew a little weirdo face on or something, and it made me feel super insecure. And this is another thing too, is it's weird, is because you can sit there and be hard on your features, and but fuck, didn't there's lots of guys who just they didn't see a problem with my face. I mean, I don't know if I always felt like this kind of was something that would be on my mind, is like, do they just like my body? Am I one of those girls they want to put a bag over their face? That's how I felt like when I was a kid. Like maybe they just want to all bag my face or something. But then it started being like, no, you're, I was being told I was pretty. So not everybody is put off by fat cheeks, and you are you look at yourself so much more with a microscope. So you are so much harder on you than other people look at you like we sit there and tear ourselves down when other people are not looking at you like that. They're too busy in their own mirrors tearing themselves down. They're looking at everybody else going, oh, she looks good, she looks good, she looks good. And, so that's why we got to get more comfortable in ourselves and be like, well, we all feel insecure. None of us are hideous. And anybody who is hideous, it has to do what they come here to learn about. It's not like it's, a bad thing just because you're not pleasing to the eyes. It just makes you more unusual. And so it's not something to feel bad about or shame about. It's just to get into the mindset of, like, I came here to experience what it is to look, just like in that Twilight Zone, where everybody did have the pig nose. And this beautiful girl, she's trying to change her face to look like that. And so, it's just, you just look different. If you went somewhere else into another world, you probably are beautiful in that world. It depends on what the world considers beauty. And it is a majority thing. And it's like, what most of the people look like. But one thing is we're going to see as the world continues is that there's going to be a lot of, what we would consider creatures or something from different places and stuff that I just think our concept of beauty is going to be changing a lot. It's going to be, beauty isn't real. It's like somebody appeals to you or they don't appeal to you, and it is way more individual. And it's trying to lasso us all into the same thing and get us all to chase this same thing and really sell us on this, beauty standard. But it's like we got to break away from it. But it was cool to see all these people, with their different distinct noses and stuff saying, it's our time, because there is going to be a big flip over from this. All these girls that went and got this generic face, they're going to be missing their old face. Maybe, maybe in the med beds, because I was thinking maybe the doctor, but we're moving out of that and we're moving into this other. So maybe it is in the med beds and stuff that they can go in and get their face back. And because there will be a thing where there's going to be huge regret to that in the generic thing. But there is there is some that it was like this girl Huda, who changed her face to go look like a Kardashian, and instead of being her authentic, because she's what is that called? No, it's called Saudi Arabian, but whatever that, however they group that group together. I mean, she's Pakistani or something, but what is that called? Middle Eastern looking. And so she didn't like her face, so she went and changed it. And I might think Kardashians also are more Middle Eastern, because if you go look at their old pictures, they're similar. So then they go and get these things done to change their features or whatever. But on Huda, you got oh my God, her people who follow her and love her. It's crazy that we have so many shallow, superficial people who are so toxic. Like she's so she's like the epitome of what we don't want to be. She's the epitome of an unhealed, troubled person who just reverberates trouble, reverberates toxicity, and then always creates the victim. It's everything's all about her and stuff. And but she's being tore up by a certain group of people, and then the other group of people who worship her, they are going at odds with the other people. Like that's the battle zone that is becoming. Like Jesus, what are we gonna have, like gang wars over who likes who and who doesn't out in the streets or something? Like people are getting so crazy about it. But it could be people like her who get so worshipped over what their new look is that they would never go back to their old look. I don't know. Because there are some people who hate themselves so much, hate their face so much, and then when they get it changed and all of a sudden they get attention, then that's what they want. And get all these guys to the point where she's very abusive to guys. And a lot of people have made a lot of points of like how abusive she is, but she's only attracted, this is the fetish, is I'm only attracted to black guys. And somehow she gets ones that all look alike. It's like so weird. She has a type, and so she only goes with these ones that fit the template. But she's super abusive and super what is that? It's like over them. Like she looks like she feels like she's over them. Like she can tell them and stuff, which then you get the people who are reactive to, oh, so you think that you are better than them, and you say you're going for guys that you think that you can control because you think you're better than them. So a lot of people make the point. I'd like to see her do that with a Middle Eastern man, because the Middle Eastern guys, they have a totally different attitude, and her dad is Millie, and then all the girls, you know, they've been abused or something from this dad, and even sexually assaulted and stuff like that. So, which is, you know, in different cultures, they don't look at it the same way, and they just think, oh, well, it's my daughter, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and it's very patriarchal. It's very, you know, I mean, they got it to the point where, you know, some of these places women have to hide their faces. They can't make eye contact. All sorts of extreme behaviors and stuff like that for the men to have more control. Like, and some of these men are allowed to have 25 wives, and women are just like, you know, they're slaves or something. They're not like an individual. You don't have individual rights or something. So I don't know. But anyways, there's everything in our society right now is to look at things differently. So different cultures have to re-examine their own behaviors, because those kind of things aren't going forward. Yeah, that's it. That's something that's ending in this world, as this world falls apart. These things, these overbearing, you know, that other, we're going into a period of time of equality and respect. So everything that doesn't follow that design will fall away. It will just go into the garbage, you know. In certain societies, like I said before, the whole certain places will just blow up. The water will come in, and people will be gone, because it's that energy is not moving forward. And so places that don't, you know, get in the flow of change and start looking at people differently, because the energy is coming into the planet to give us all the spectacles to see new, see different, to feel the pain of our own behavior inside of us, and to learn to respect everybody for their differences and for their uniqueness, and to get comfortable in the pool of equality. You know, that we're all equal, we're all the same, we're all going through the same stuff, and to not be in this hierarchy of I'm better than you, and the creation of the racism and the division that it creates and stuff like that, because it does create such a power play too on the victim. You know, there's a lot of people who are trapped in, we've been the victim for hundreds of years. But a lot of it, I think, has been storytelling. You know, and it's real weird too. Is like the storytelling of the blues. You know, of like, oh, you know, this guy was out to kill you, and so we had to leave, and there's a lot of weird shit, man. I swear to God. But on the slavery one, for because they had to sell a story of these people being treated like animals and treated, which, you know, I mean, there definitely was plantations. There definitely was these big farms and these rich people who owned them, and the workers that were, you know, had to go out and work. And I don't know that they were all being beaten into submission. You know, I think that there was just always this, you know, housing. Yeah, you don't live anything like them, and they talk down to you because of the arrogance behind the elite. But but I don't know so much about the story. But I think that the story is to create the victim, because when these people with all the money did come over and start taking the land of this Americas, that there was these tribes and stuff. There was these groups, these villages, these people, and they had money. They had, I think, what is that show? It was on Netflix, and I kept on thinking, this is so weird when I was watching it. It was like called Brighton or something. It's very popular, and I had seen a couple seasons of it, and they would make like it was a fantasy, and that there was black kings and queens, and that they would be with the other elite, and they would be hanging out and stuff. And so they were all these elite people, but they had black ones in with the white ones. And I kept being like, God, why would they do that? Because it doesn't seem it was accurate to our history from what they had said. But I think it was more accurate. But I think that they've also conquered them. Like they would kill them and take their stuff, just like the Hawaiian one, where they went over to take all that, and then they imprisoned that queen, and she was a queen of color. And so they did that down here. So they had people who had money and stuff that were all darker because they had come like from the Caribbean and stuff. It wasn't all that they were coming from Africa and came in on ships and were sold and stuff like that. Even though the human trade continues, because they're still doing that, like in Libya and stuff, there's still places where the human trade is a big thing. I mean, that is where that's our biggest problem. But they still continue that, like taking people and just go out into the center and buy people right off the fucking counter. And but back in the time of this country, where people had started finding the old maps, and that it showed it was all black people, and then they found there's a lot of evidence and stuff to put holes in their story and start changing the story, where it seems that there was people who would come, and who knows how the land was touching back then and how close it was and stuff. If there was more land, and it's just over time the water has separated it more, but they would come over. So they could have been walking, it could have been more connected, and so that they were there, and so they became a part of the land mass there, because one thing about tribes is they stay around water, because they know how much water you need water for every fucking thing. And that's why the people, the elites, they decided to charge us for water and stuff, because they want to control all of the resources and the things we need. But before, the tribes would always go and stay around the water. So around the coastline, there was all these different tribes, and they weren't all primitive, and they had kings and stuff. They had wealth. They had different things. And even if they didn't, dress like how we dress and stuff now, they were still, they were well off. They were doing well. And then these ones came in to battle them and take their land and enslave them and make them. So they did take some of them and, take their stuff and then put them into different. I don't think that they were all put onto plantations, but there was definitely something where they did put some, I think. Yesterday that I did watch the Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. It was funny too, because the music in it kind of made like it was like a funny horror movie. But I remember being a kid and just being like, oh my God, it was so scary to me. But it was kind of weird, because this is the shit that I've said that the government has always done too. So this one was, they had a plantation, and they were like the rich people of the area. And then, but then the government comes in, and because they control the wealth, they control the people and stuff. So they came in and said, well, we're putting a freeway through here, or whatever it was. They were putting a new access road or something. So they were going to just take their land and tear down their plantation. And so they just come in, and they've done this over time and over time and over time. All the different places and things that people have created, they just come in and say, well, we're taking this now. And right now they're doing it through storms and stuff, just taking the land back, taking everything, and leaving people homeless with no shelter, and expected to go out and work in order to feed themselves, and make it harder and harder to get a place to live. And now that they want to bring in the housing, just like it was back in the slave times or something. You get this little box of a house And then, well, some of it they want, yeah, just because the apartments that are going up everywhere, just to control and contain us and get us in little small places that we can never get ahead. And so, that's what they've been doing for a long ass time. It's like the shift, like anybody who goes up, they'll take them down. So, but I just thought it was weird because in that movie, when I would have seen it before, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. Now that I've seen what they do and how they do it, it was like, oh my gosh, it's right there in the movies. They just come in and they take your shit. And they're, oh, well, we're putting a road in. It's like, well, how the fuck? I mean, that was what Charlotte was fucking arguing with them. Like, you can't just fucking come in and take my shit. You can't just come in and say you're putting a road through my land. Well, she lost. And that's what, that's what this world does. And they do create these little fucking weirdo habitats and stuff where they keep people stuck in time and keep us under under their control. So that is look at this one. Okay, so if you think of their containment bubbles, their Truman Show, it is a lot easier when they keep it like it's a town and keep control over it. But now they've expanded so much. They've got cities and towns, and it got too much for them to handle. That's funny because that was something that kept coming into my mind when I was a kid. It was like they're getting, it's like they're getting greedy and it's getting to be too much. They can't keep up. That's why I think they push for, well, we're overpopulated. We need population control. It's like, we don't need population control. You guys just got yourself in too deep. You can't handle. You try to take too much, and now you can't handle it. So it's but that's what's going to flip to the other side. That's what's going to give us our freedom, is because they got too greedy. They tried to take too much. They tried to get too many of us and under their control. And which this guy in China, so he moved from America to China, and he was expecting China, to be like what we were told, and it's so much different. He's always doing videos and stuff like, this is so weird. He said it's so different here. But in this one, so it's nighttime, and he said, so he's at the park, and he said everybody's at the park. It's nighttime. Everybody's at the park. And he said the park is so... He was showing videos of it, too. He wasn't just making shit up. So, at the park, where everybody goes and takes their kids, it's nighttime. Everybody's out there just living their life. But he said their taxes go way different. Our taxes don't pay for shit. Well, they pay for absurd grants to get these people rich and shit, to give them more islands to go in and control. But there, the money goes back into the community, and so the people go to the park, and then they've got little cars, they're very like Hello Kitty-ish or something, these little cars, they're quirky little cars, and they got all these little lights, bright and going all over the place, and kids get to go drive the cars around. In the water, there's boats, and kids go in and drive their boats, and there's a parent. He said there's a parent with every kid. Kids aren't just there, but it's very much of, like here it's like, well, what do kids do? What do kids have to do except for create more problems and more trouble? And then you got kids going out looking for something to do. Well, they give them something to do. And they give them fun things to do, but it's also, there's parents and stuff. So it's not just like, because in this world, over here in America, you got parents that are just like dumping their kids out, go find something to do. And where kids are out running the streets at midnight while the parents are off drinking and fulfilling their own needs. And we've got such a needy society, such an empty, dead society over here. I mean, like, this is one of the things I was crying about this morning. It's so fucking horrible. Some of the things, it's like, I just warning, is just terrible. So, and I feel bad because sometimes I do say things that are terrible, and I'm sure they do make people feel bad. Especially after watching that show, then I've got to have more awareness of that kind of stuff. About the things I'm saying can be making someone feel real bad. So this is your warning. This could make you feel bad. So speed up if you don't want to hear it. some of these crimes that are happening right now are so fucking fuckery. It is hard to imagine that there is this wicked of people out there, man. Like a 7-year-old spilling her cereal. What do you think would be the punishment for that? You know, we've all experienced, any parent has experienced. I mean, some of us have gone through every motherfucking meal. These little spazzes just knocking over their milk and shit. I use lids on their milk. It's like, get your sippy cup. Like, you gotta have a lid on your drink if you can't fucking keep a handle on it. And then also, you know, just give them a little bit. Don't fucking pour a big goddamn glass. Because kids are spazzes, man. They knock shit over. They can't control their bodies. Their bodies are growing and they can't control them. I was a spazzy kid. I was constantly falling down and shit. I don't know that I spilled things all the time. But I remember siblings spilling shit. And I remember my kids spilling shit. So anyways, this little girl, 7 fucking years old, spills her goddamn cereal. This mother, this is what I'm talking about. Broken people. We need to work on ourselves before we start expanding. Like, seriously. You've got wounds and you got to deal with them before you start just creating this lineage of abuse. And then, you know, you can go back and say, well, I was abused. Yeah, well, that's why it's got to stop. That's why you got to fix it. You can't just carry it on. And so this lady's, what her child's punishment was, lay down on the ground and then I'm going to curb stomp you. So she curb stomped her, but she body stomped her. 7, this is coming from the aunt or something. And if you're another fucking adult allowing someone to do this, get up and goddamn punch them out. Like, fucking do something. You know, I mean, I don't like violence, and I don't like, you know, having to meet violence with violence. But sometimes when somebody is, you gotta fucking be ready to go, man. You cannot fucking, something's gotta stop. It's gonna make me cry. It's so fucked. So she stomped on her 7 times. And the little girl was in horrific pain. And so the mom told her to get her ass up and clean up this fucking mess. So the little girl gets up and starts trying to clean up. She's not doing it fast enough. So the mom fucking gives her a big fucking kick so hard in the stomach that she throws her across she kicks her so hard she flies across the counter. How are people doing this shit, man? Like, what is so cut off from you? Your own pain is so far advanced that you don't feel anything for anyone else. Oh, fuck, it's fucked. Then so the little girl's in horrible pain, and the mom goes and gets cold water, pours it on her, and then the little girl is begging to go lay down, and the mom wouldn't let her. So anyways, she dies. I think it took a couple days. And so they found, like, her intestines were detached, her liver was lacerated. Like, she had half of her blood was in her abdomen. She created a bleed inside of her. Like, I don't understand, like, how people can be so vicious. And I think maybe the woman was trying to be like, well, I just kicked her. And the aunt was coming and saying, oh, no, she did more than that. And so, you know, she's going to face charges. But in this world, especially in the corporate law, things are not for the rights of everyone. But you got to remember what Donald, he brought it in. And so, because the one guy who, the 13-year-old on her birthday, who died the day after her birthday. And then they try to be like, oh, we don't know what happened or whatever. And then the cops go to do their investigation. They find this freaking, I don't even know if he was a stepdad or the boyfriend. But he had been in this kid's life for a long ass time. And he had been saving videos in his phone from what he would do to her from the time he was 8. because, you know, that gives him his jollies. And so he got charged. And so he's in the court right now. And he decided to plead no contest. No contest. You can't motherfucking just say you're goddamn guilty. You fucking goddamn. So, no contest. It's no contest. So that he doesn't get the death penalty. Bitch. You get what you deserve. What goes around comes around. So, I would say take the injection, man. But what will happen to you at the people in the brink? They'll get the other way. Like that one guy, he was talking about when he was in the guy who was down there. They put him in the cell with the ones who were going to make sure that justice is found. And in that one, because the guy was a few cells down, and he said he heard the most horrific scream he'd ever heard in his life. And so the lights come on, they're running down there, and I think they were taking him out of their cells, and they had to go past. And he said as he went past, the guy who was the one who did it everybody knew this guy's a scary motherfucker. And the kid who went in is the crime of the unacceptable crime. And then he, in order to, he bit his penis off, I guess. He just went up and ripped it right the fuck off. And the guy bled out. There's an artery. So, yeah, that so, yeah, I'd rather get the injection than face that. So a lot of these guys, they get really brutalized. So anyways, but and when the guy who was talking about this was, the bullshit of how these guys can, now he's just got life without parole or something. And then I was like, okay, so my question is, it's always funny because the question starts with a certain letter that has been leading us through this awakening. And, because question everything, folks. But in my question was, so in a corporate law where that is allowed, but in the constitutional is where, I don't know if that is even, that they even came up with that shit when they wrote the Constitution. If it was going on, it was just accepted. I do it with kids. That's the way it is. Oh yeah, well that's okay. I do it with black ladies. It was like they all were, out there. And so I don't know, but I do know Donald, he wrote something about it. And so in the first reign, he wrote, because he did all these executive orders. He was signing, like I watched him. It was like when he was on, this is when I started watching him. And I started seeing, like, because they started lying about what he was doing and stuff. And I was like, that's when I started telling people, like, their media's lying about him. And that's when people lost their minds. Like, oh, would you support him? Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I'm just telling you that they're lying about him. No, fuck you. You can't fucking... people lost their minds. It's like they couldn't even hear what you were saying. But I saw it. And so he was not just having his, bringing the liars on stage to have them lie to everybody, and he kept on making sure it was being documented. It was all being on film. Their lies were, it was like, what did I say that was like? It was like a deposition. It was like they were having a deposition without being deposed. It was like they were getting him on there, and he was like, so you're telling me, so you're sure about this? And that little fraud, oh yeah. He's been caught in some lies. That guy's fucking gone. No fucking way. And, but, so then he would sit, and he would have this desk, and it was always this, I don't know, it was kind of silly, some of the things. It was such a show. But he would sign. He had executive order after executive order. He's signing them, and they would have these clauses, like, that anyone who is, anybody who is caught in these certain crimes that have to do with younger people, that it's automatic. That's it. You're we're gonna create a squad that's gonna take care of this. So he had it in there, and he had it also. All your possessions are taken. Everything is taken, and he goes back to the people. And then that's where it's like, oh, see, he's going after these rich people. He's got it right in there. You know, you committed anything against the wee ones, then we're taking all your shit, and you're gonna go and you're gonna meet the squad. And so that's what I think. So I don't know. This guy is gonna go in there and say, yeah, well, I'm gonna get the life in prison instead. It's like, well, maybe in the corporate law, but we're in a time of change, and there's you should be concerned over these papers over here, because I don't think things are going to go the way you want. You think you're going to just live off of our tax money for the rest of your life after you've done these things? No, things are going to be changing. I think that they're going to, as things change, because prisons are privately owned, and so they had to create prisoners. That was even a thing in hip-hop music, that they had there's whistleblowers on this, that they had brought them all these big names in and said, we're going to give you a lot of money, but the way to get it is you have to create a scenario. So we want anger, we want there's no way out. We want drugs. We want, women sexualized. We want, they had a parameter, a set thing, the destruction of our society. And so the people who played into that, because that was when rap music came, and I would hear, like, how can you listen to this, man? It's so violent. It's so hateful. But that was, it was like the Pied Piper. It was like some people were tuned into that frequency. They pulled people in, and they created it. And I think even Ice Cube or something, like, I think that there's some, some big names that have come out and said about this stuff. So they were creating a scenario of hate, and to create a reverberation of this scene, of this scenario, of the violence and stuff like that. And so, and it was because the prisons needed people to go in them. So they needed to, get people in there. And then it's all this grant stuff. It's all, so you can get money out of the tax money. So we're just paying our taxes. And then you get these criminals who say, well, we need grants for this, we need grants for that. And what they're doing right now is showing the misspending. What they're doing at the humane societies, what they're doing at the prisons, it's all. And even in the prisons, man, it's even worse, because they're taking, they're doing these people in and taking their parts and selling them and shit. Like, there's bad stuff that is going on. I think, and some, they move them around from one to one to one, where you lose track, just like they do in the CP. They take these kids, move them around, you lose track. They do it with them too. So, and a lot of, because like in Get Out, these rich people, like, they're wanting these superior, these black guys, they've got the muscles, they've got the, all of that, and they want those bodies and stuff. So, they get them in the prisons, and then they lose track of them, and then they end up over here with somebody else's fucking consciousness in them, and then they also take their parts. So there's a lot of bullshit, but so it's all going to fall apart. All these things, all these feeders off of these grants and stuff. It's all, and that's what I think a big part of what the DOGE was exposing, to get us to start seeing, like, oh man, these grants, that's some bullshit, man. So, but it's so much deeper and so much bigger. And so, anyways, but I would say what they're going to do is, there will be like a rehab kind of situation, because there's a lot of people who shouldn't be in prison. There's a lot of people who have been in prison way too long. There's a lot of people who have been rehabbed, but then they keep creating more criminals by poverty. They give you no way to get ahead. Then people, it's like they steal for food. They steal so they can have any. So it's they create criminals. So there's going to be a shift in that, and we're not going to be having all these prisons and stuff like that. It's going to be going away, and the people who do deserve to be in them, they're going to be just, it depends on what you've done. It depends on what your crime is and how far you've gone and how dark you are. And then they've got the little vibrating machine. They can read your vibration. And so if you are somebody who is like, oh no, hell no, then you will, go over, I don't know, alligator alley with the rest of them. But the ones who, they are good people on the inside, they're just stuck in a world that they don't know how to make do. They don't know how to figure it out because they were trapped in the system. Then those ones, they'll be rehabbing and healing and stuff like that. And so, I bet there's probably some pretty dark ones that have just, like the devil's becoming it's like a hell. And some that like Rikers or something, like, I don't know, it might be full of some good people, I don't know, but in certain ones it could be that they're just going to come in and a flood's going to take them out, because that's going to be how the universe is going to handle some of the stuff. It's like, well, that's too big a crowd, let's just take them all. So there will be places, but we all have the opportunity right now, because the energy is coming into the planet. We all have the opportunity to advance ourselves, to look at things different, to treat people better, to be better to ourselves, to be better to everyone, to be more connected. And so that is, it's our challenge, but it is, and that's why it's not a rush. I mean, there is like a sense of a rush, but it's not really, because when the things turn, when the tables turn, that is when we're going to go into the deep healing. There's going to be deep, deep healing that's going to come from the shift, whatever the shift is going to be. And it could very well be the money thing. And I guess the BBB went through. And so I saw this guy saying today, so it was the 22nd. He said tomorrow. So I don't know if he was talking last night and he put the 22nd or if it's actually going to be the 23rd. So he's saying the 23rd, Donald's going to go sign it all into existence. So it's gone through the House, it's gone all the way through, and now it's going in. It's like, okay, now we're going. And so the BBB is going to be our BBB, and it's big and beautiful, and we're going to be changing our big, beautiful life. And so he said that it is a lot of things that you have the people who keep trying to tear it down, but they don't know what the fuck, and it's going to be so good for the rest of us, like the people who, it's going to be way, way better. And he said, well, what it's doing though is cutting off the access. So, like, where there's certain people, well, it's going to destroy Medicaid, it's going to destroy Medicare, it's going to destroy this, it's going to destroy that. And this guy was saying, no, it's going to destroy their access to where they could go in and, get access. And it's cutting them off. So it's actually cutting the government out of the system. It's cutting their ability to control us out of there. So this is what, is all going into motion. And then I think that's a part of, like, we're going to be very happy. You're going to be very happy. And then I still don't know, because he had said that there's money coming back, but is it going to be like through that? Like, well, the money's coming back because you don't have to pay your taxes. Your money's paying back because you don't have to do this or do that. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be bigger than that. And, it's going to start being, because there's still people out there saying that these checks are supposed to be coming. And, and who knows, like, I don't know. I know that we do have money coming. We do have change coming. We do have big changes in our medical. And so, and that's one thing too. Even when the Donald clone or whatever the hell with the puffed up ankles and the bruised hand or whatever, which I don't know, could be a goddamn robot for all we fucking know. And but the real one, he is already have access to this technology and stuff, and that may be why one reason why he's hidden away, because he's not coming out, because he looks 40 years younger than he looks or something. Like, so there is no, even if they come and say, oh well, he died, well maybe he went into the healing bed thing so get his looks changed so we can go live a normal life after all this. I don't know. And but you know, these certain people have access to this technology, and so but the access is going to start becoming more mainstream, where we're all going to get access to it. So, and it's going to keep going and going and going. And so everything is going to keep falling apart and changing and bringing us into a better place. And it is going to be way more about you will, it's not judged so much, but in our sense of understanding, I would say you're going to be judged on your soul. So quit worrying about what, you know, how long your hair is by getting extensions, and focusing on getting faceless and shit. Worry about your goddamn soul. Focus on that. And these people who are, you know, focused on their pain and their suffering and their anger, and it's all coming to the surface. They can't hide anymore. I mean, they're fucking brutalizing children. Some are brutalizing babies. It's like, it's insane. But, you know, that is a special kind of heinousness that you carry in your soul. And I do know that there is these entanglements that play out back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so, and you don't know through all their different, you know, soul journeys of what the battle has been between these souls. And so, you know, I mean, to us, we can sit there and see this one and be like, oh my God, this is so fucking horrific. But we look at it as like, that's really a little kid, and that's really, but the entanglements are so much deeper. And they really do this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so, you know, and I don't know if they are getting way more heinous, or if it's just this heinous beats heinous beats heinous, you know, just they match each other's heinousness one after another after another. But it is one of the things you got to break free from, man. You got to break free from your soul's pain and suffering, and you got to recognize the triggers. When somebody is triggering you in deep, deep triggers, then you got to recognize, like, there's something more going on here. And there's something here I can heal. I can pull free from this. I don't have to stay in this back and forth, playing this life after life after life. I can break free from this. But then once you start trying to break free, you're going to be hit with certain things, because you carry certain behaviors, you carry certain themes, you carry certain pains, and you know, we all have a certain vindictive side to us, a viciousness inside of us. We all carry the dark. We all have it. But that's why you got to recognize it. You got to see, like, oh, I got a dark side. Everybody's got a dark side. You can't make it go away. You got to just, you know, learning how to control and contain yourself, how to you know, and so much of it is through your emotions, because your emotions can get you so crazy. And you know, like that mom, you know, who knows what the fuck, but you know, your kid spills the cereal, instead of you losing your mind, because there's reasons why, you know, why you're so fragile, why you can't handle shit. But when you have something happen, and you just feel your steam is fucking coming out, goddamn, you're gonna lose your mind. That's when you have got to recognize, okay, I'm losing it. You know, you got to be like, okay, you clean up your mess. I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm going for a walk. You clean up your mess, and then, you know, go do some yoga. Learn how to control yourself. Like, I don't know. You know, I mean, kids are spazzes. You know, kids do dumbass shit. And we've all been kids. And so, to be in, you know, when somebody overreacts like that, then you think, like, well, you know, what happened to them when they were spilling milk? Because this is their go-to? Like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you? So, beat you to death? So anyways, that's where we got to start seeing, like, notice our own emotional turmoil, and we've got to not surrender to it. We got to adhere. We got to acknowledge it, and we got to think, in a more emotionally mature way about how do I deal with my anger. Taking it out on somebody, like, it's not gonna turn out good. So you got to learn how, what are some healthy things I could do. And if you can't, just go outside and go walk around and blow your steam off, go just say, clean up your mess. I'm going to my room, and go in your room and punch your pillow 100 times, just lose your mind on your pillow, not on a person. And cry it out, just like that woman who was losing her mind. She was videotaping it all. But it does show, you can go lose your mind and scream and cry and have a fit because you're so frustrated, because the frustration is real. But you can't go take it out on another person, especially a child who doesn't know what, who they can't do anything about it. She can't become less spazzy than she is. Or then these people who put so much pressure on their kids, then they make these uptight, crazy kids too. It's like, we got to be so much more accepting, so much more, oh, it's okay. You spilled the stuff, like, it's okay, just work on it. You got to try and learn how to, go slower. And also, you create a tension. If you're always like riding your kid's ass every fucking thing they do, then you're gonna be more tense. They're gonna be more spazzy. They're gonna drop things more because they're like, oh my god, she's gonna get mad at me. So you got to, take it down a notch. Create an environment that's a lot calmer, not so tense, because you're creating the tension that you don't want. So, but you can go and there's things you could do. You could go for a walk. You could, I don't know, it depends on what your environment is. If you can go, I don't know, some people, like, you can't leave the kid. Then I'm saying, go in your room, go take a bath, go cry, go remember when you were a kid and what happened to you, and whatever it is, walk yourself through it. Work through your anger and your resentment and your bitterness and your hatefulness and the tension that you carry yourself. And don't go and put it off on people, because it's not a good outcome. You can't use kids as your punching bag. And you can't use them as your sex toys. You can't use them as your punching bag. It's not going to work out for you. It's like, you want to think about God. God is not going to accept it. And God is the all. So the all, the energy of the positive energy is not acceptable to those kind of behaviors. This going over another soul, that is the entanglement that is created. And so right here, right now, we're trying to break entanglements. We're trying to evolve. But, some of the scenarios also playing out are to be so extreme because that also moves mankind. It moves us. It gets us to see things. It gets our attention. And so it gets us to be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that. That's like what I was saying. I mean, the things around us, instead of getting mad, is to see, like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to be better. I want to be better than that. I want to work on myself. I want to be a better person. I want to be a kinder person. I want to be a more, sustainable person, and in order to move forward, you've got to do that. That's the work that's got to be done. And so this is the time, is, it's like a reevaluation of self, and to not shame yourself for the dark parts of yourself, but to acknowledge them and see they come from somewhere, even if you don't remember where they come from. They come from somewhere. I mean, so you have to acknowledge them, give them their day, go in and really, it's okay to be dark and full of hate. It's not okay to go and put it off onto other people, to take your hate and put it out. Like, you can get rid of it if you just take it out on everybody else. Well, you can't. you're only going to create worse. Is what you put out comes back to you, and you're only going to make things worse for yourself and worse for yourself. And that's just a natural law of order. That's just a universal law. What you put out comes back to you, and that's where they created this concept of karma. But it's just the energy you put out comes back to you. So be weary of what it is you're putting out, and be aware and have compassion and empathy for others. That's what makes a good human. That's what makes the more evolved human. And for us to stop this fighting, over who's better and who, the hierarchy was created for us to battle, for us to stay divided. And that's where we got to break through the hierarchy. Quit thinking that you're better than other people, that those people are stupid, those people have no worth. And it's like, what we have is people of a lack of awareness. Like, they are caught up in the storyline. And that's what was created here. They created a world to have a storyline. And so it's not like the people are wrong. They're just caught up in it. And so that is the mind control. And that's what's going to be broken. And when it breaks, when the truth is shown and they see it, then that's where they're going to have that moment where it's like a shocking moment, but it's all of a sudden, so quickly, it's going to be like the emperor's new clothes. So quickly, they're going to feel exposed. Every bit of their darkness is going to be like they've put it out there. They've shown the world. And there's big people, like there's all sorts of big creators or influencers or whatever that have been influencing in the wrong direction. They're all of a sudden going to get that, and that sense of shame of not being able to see. But that is a part of your lessons. It's part of what you're here to work on, or you wouldn't have it happen that way. And but you don't want to get stuck there. You can't just get stuck in shame, because you're not bad. You're both things. You're good and you're bad. In this world, you were just focused. Your focus was in the wrong direction. And so but you have to work through it. And then you've got all these influencers or whatever, these people whose lives are blowing the fuck up right now. Oh my God. Because if you weren't going in the right direction, it's going to blow. And it's for your lessons. It's really good for them, because it gives you opportunity to advance. But it's going to feel bad until it feels good. Once you get past the bad part, once you get past the dark, what we would consider the dark night of the soul, when you're facing your own darkness, then once you get past that, first you get past that, but then you will have triggers. Things will come in because you're doing a real cleansing of the soul. So you'll be triggered. And each trigger will get more harder and more complex. And it will be more challenging. So you go through your different triggers, and you will feel like, the universe is just coming at you. It's like, give me a fucking break. But it's you cleansing your soul. So you got to, what you want to do is just do things different. Just, if something's too comfortable, it's what you do all the time. So you want to go towards like, well, I'm going to try this. I've never tried this before, so I'm going to try this. And then you'll start finding success when you're trying new things and you're trying to break old patterns, because that's what you're meant to do, is break your patterns. Realize, because you don't want to just live a life of patterns in a loop, just doing the same shit over and over and over. You got to fucking figure out, how do I break free from this? And in the world, or the universe is going to keep handing you the thing. You got to break the loop. You got to break free. So anyways, this is the time, though, of the souls all breaking free, breaking out of their patterns, and making new choices for themselves, and healing the wounds that set their patterns. And so then it's like the cleansing of you. And that is the cleansing, is the break free. It is the snake shedding its skin. It is the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's the butterfly coming from the cocoon. It is you coming out of the state that you are in into the new version of you. It's the breaking free from all that has held you back. And so it's the chains that bind you. It's breaking the chains. And so breaking free is where, we're all doing it. And and holding on to old storylines and in pain and trauma and victimization is whether it's your culture, your sex, your gender, whatever it is, you need to break free from all of those. Anything that it creates a victim of poor you got to break free from all that. And you're going to have scenarios that are going to keep pushing you in those directions. It's getting a little crazy, isn't it? It's getting a little wild. So anyways, who knows what today is going to bring. I'm just really hopeful for August 1st, and it starts being like, oh, here's money for you, which Donald did put out a video of money just raining down on the White House and eagles flying everywhere. So, there really is people, these people who have committed these horrible things that really had tons and tons of money. I mean, we're seeing the CEOs and stuff, like, these people are dropping like flies, man. Which, I found this kind of interesting. The girl, okay, so there's somebody that is saying, like, that the Simpsons didn't really have that picture of them, that somebody did that in AI. I don't know. This world is so fucking big, but we do have repeat stories going and going and going. So whatever. But that the Coldplay couple. So the girl, she is married to one of the richest. Her husband is one of the richest families that is out there. And so she's already married and he's a CEO, because of course they're all CEOs. You either come from the wealth, or you will do anything to get it, and that's how you move up. And so she coming from one of those families, and it is one of those families, like, I don't know. You don't humiliate us. I don't know. Is her car gonna crash? Like, I don't know what the hell. Like, this world is so wild. But and I can't remember. Their money did come from something with petroleum too. Something with something, I don't know. Somebody did a whole background thing on them, and it was like, oh, well, that's quite interesting. And so everything's changing. All these people, the money hoarding families, the elites who, their money that they're holding on to is all going. The gold has been gotten. They were collecting that from the Vatican, had a whole bunch. The Chinese emperor, like, there's a whole, I don't know, like a palace underground or something where they kept it. And it was rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms of gold bars. And the same with the Vatican, and who knows where else, that these money hoarders have kept, all the gold. But it's going, and it's coming back to every country is getting equal shares to give out to their people. And then the assets that are all going to be taken, the land, the money, all this stuff is going to be taken from the people. But a lot of this money is just paper. So it's like we were worshiping this paper. But anyways, it's all falling apart. It's all going to change. I'm just hoping that August, that we see some significant things, that we start getting our redemption center appointments. We start getting our opportunities to go into these the medbed centers and stuff like that. Which there was a girl who, she was saying, like, these Tesla medbed things are for real. And she has some kind of a thing in her house. It's like, I don't know, I think maybe, we're all going to have these high vibrating things at our homes or something. I don't know. Things are going to be changing. I know that. But so she had some flowers that were wilting and dying, and she went and put them on the vibrating thing. They went back to like, those looked like they were just taken off the stem. So, and that's what's going to go for us. We're gonna go back to a refresh on all of us and all of our bodies, and so we're gonna get the refresher. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure a lot of people, especially if all the people knew, but so many people, they're out there fighting battles that You don't need to exist. You're creating the battle for yourself. And so that's why it's all going to break apart. It's like the rug is going to be pulled out from under everybody all of a sudden. And it's going to be very destabilizing, but it's also going to be in the micro macro, because we're going to go through destabilizing the economy and stuff. But just keep in mind, no matter what the shenanigans that go on, it's just bringing us into the better place. And that's what, you have all these people that don't understand that. They keep thinking that this is all breaking down and we're fucked. It's like, no, it's just like what that guy said. It's cutting off access. It's changing it so that they can't do this shit. So things are going to get better. And we're going to start getting our birthright, land and resources. They're not going to be able to keep holding those over our heads. Like a place to live is, something that we all have to, it's the American dream. It's the American dream to have a home. Like so it's, it's our God-given fucking right. We deserve whatever, and the insidious nature of the controllers of taking and taking and taking and keeping people in a sense of poverty and dependence is ending. So we're going to be flying high soon. We are going to be the eagle soaring, it's coming. So no matter what all bullshit they keep on throwing at you, just keep on remembering what's important. And I realized today that I was not taking enough of the B12, so I just increased that amount. So, anyways, hopefully, because every time I fucking wash my hair, I just cannot believe how much hair comes out. It's like, what the fuck, dude? So, anyways, and we'll see what the hair situation keeps doing. But also, a med bed and grow our hair back faster, but it's still, and you can't be dependent on things. From what that lady said, if you're just sitting around not taking care of yourself, thinking, well, I'm going to go in the med bed, that you won't be able to go in. Your vibration won't match it. So put your focus, even though it feels like you're just trying to climb a waterfall at times, keep your focus on your health and taking care of yourself, searching for a healthy lifestyle and trying to figure out, how to keep yourself healthy, how to take care of yourself and not get caught up in the bullshit. And so many people are caught up in the bullshit right now. So many people are drinking and doing drugs all the time and just trying to survive hell. And it's like, but you need to come at it differently. You need to start caring about yourself to pull yourself free. And drinking and drugging and stuff is not going to be caring about yourself. Ooh, last night when I woke up one of the times I was having this dream, and it was making me think about all the people that eat raw. And the Japanese say, you don't eat raw, you got to steam it, you got to do something. And they have a whole thing about vibration and energy and stuff like that. I can't remember all the stuff about it. But in my dream, I was like, there was two weird dreams. One of them, my dad was there, and I was trying to leave and go someplace, and I was leaving my dogs, and I was concerned about the fence, but my dad was there. It's like, and he's been dead a long time. But but then one of the other ones, I was trying to make a salad, and oh God, it was so disgusting. It kept being worms and shit, little tiny ones. And I put some in, and there was just worms and worms. And then as soon as I woke up, I was like, watch what you eat raw. Like, cook your food. Like, it's so disgusting. But, raw, eating bugs, I guess it's not going to kill you. Except for, I guess if you get the government bugs, they're out to kill you. It's on purpose. So, anyways, I don't know. We're all in it. We got to figure shit out for ourselves. We got to... that's the thing. It's like, we all got to figure shit out for ourselves. But we got to think of it, recognize the enemy. And the enemy is in each other. The enemy are the ones trying to control us and charge us for our God-given rights. So don't get caught up in their bullshit and start being a criminal and doing mean things and horrific things. It's okay to not have things sometimes. You'll live without things. There's a lot of things you can live without. Like, fuck, believe you me, I'm living in a fucking garage, and it's like, sometimes it really gets to me sleeping on the ground. It's like, fuck. But it's funny though, is that for so long, I swear to God, even when I started this, I brought it up. Is like I looked at myself as like that Princess and the Pea. Like I could feel anything. It was like I couldn't handle it. I was like, I'd gone through so many mattresses. No, I can't sleep. It's too uncomfortable. No, get a topper. Oh, that doesn't work. Get another mattress. Oh, that doesn't work. I just was going through it. Man, I spent so fucking money. Oh my God, the money I've spent on mattresses to try and sleep. I was like, oh God, no way. I can't go camping. I can't sleep on the ground. Hell no. I've been doing it for 7 months and here I am. And I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Stretch, stretch. So, anyways, we tell ourselves all sorts of stories. And, you know, and it was at a time when I was on 8-10 pills. And I think it was destroying everything in my body. I think I was so uncomfortable and I kept blaming the mattress instead of the pills. So, yeah, get your priorities straight. And let's look at this thing. So, anyways, all of the shenanigans and all the bullshit, you can't go wrong focusing on yourself. And the thing you want to do is learn how to love yourself, learn how to love everybody else, and learn how to have the day you want to have, because it's up to you. So we'll talk about it again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.